Welcome to Adu Globe. Discover new ideas, learn exciting things, and be amazed every day. For decades, the world recognized only one superpower, the United States. After World War II, America held unmatched dominance in military strength, economic reach, and global influence. But now, in the 21st century, a new chapter is unfolding. Another nation is rising fast, drawing the world's attention with its expanding factories, advanced technology, and growing global ties, and that nation is China. Some analysts say China's rise is no longer just a possibility, but an approaching reality. According to some reports and expert predictions, China could soon present itself as the world's leading superpower. Economists point to its expanding trade networks, military modernization, and technological breakthroughs as evidence of this shift. While the US still holds the title of the dominant global power, whispers are growing louder. Could we be witnessing the dawn of a new era, the era of China? They call it the world's factory, and for good reason. From the phone in your hand, to the clothes you wear, to the toys in your home, chances are, they were made in China. Over the past 4 decades, China has transformed itself from an agricultural society into the engine of global manufacturing. According to the World Bank, China's economy has grown faster than any other major nation in modern history, lifting more than 800 million people out of poverty. This rise is not just numbers on paper, it's a transformation that has touched nearly every household on Earth. By 2023, China became the largest exporter in the entire world. Its goods reach every corner of the globe, from electronics to machinery, from textiles to solar panels. The UN Trade and Development (UNCTAD) report shows that China accounted for nearly 15% of all global exports last year. This dominance has reshaped trade patterns and made China an unavoidable partner for nearly every nation. Whether it's Europe, Africa, or Latin America, Chinese ships and containers are everywhere, creating a supply chain web that ties the world's economies to Beijing's factories. But China's ambition doesn't end at its borders. In 2013, Beijing launched the Belt and Road Initiative, one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in history. Today, more than 150 countries have signed on to this vision, accepting Chinese investment to build highways, railways, ports, and power plants. According to a World Bank study, BRI projects could lift global trade by 6.2% and reduce transport costs by up to 2.2% for participating countries. From Africa's roads to Pakistan's Gwadar port, from Central Asia's railways to Europe's logistics hubs, China is not just trading, it's connecting the world under its own networks. Money is power, and China knows it well. 4 of the world's top 5 banks by total assets are Chinese: ICBC, China Construction Bank, Agricultural Bank of China, and Bank of China. According to the S&P Global 2023 ranking, ICBC alone holds over $5.7 trillion in assets, making it the largest bank in the world. This financial muscle allows China to pour billions into global investments, from African infrastructure to Asian trade corridors. While Wall Street still sets the tone for global finance, Chinese banks are no longer just followers, they are leaders in shaping international money flows. And what about the future? The International Monetary Fund (IMF) projects that by 2030, China could surpass the United States in terms of gross domestic product, when measured by purchasing power. This doesn't mean the US will suddenly fall, but it does suggest that the world may be entering an era with 2 giants at the top, competing side by side. Already, global companies depend on China not only as a manufacturing hub, but also as a massive consumer market. With 1.4 billion people, China represents the largest pool of consumers on the planet, and its middle class is still growing. When it comes to manpower, no military on Earth compares to China's. The People's Liberation Army, or PLA, is the largest standing army in the world, with more than 2 million active soldiers. This scale alone gives Beijing unmatched ground presence, but what's even more significant is how the PLA has modernized in the last 2 decades, shifting from an old-style infantry force to a cutting-edge, technology-driven military machine. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute (SIPRI), China now has the world's largest navy in terms of total warships. From destroyers to submarines, its fleet outnumbers even that of the United States. This presence is especially visible in the South China Sea, where Beijing has built artificial islands and turned them into fortified military bases, giving it strategic control over one of the busiest trade routes in the world. In 2021, China tested a hypersonic missile, a weapon so fast that it shocked U.S. military officials. Unlike traditional missiles, hypersonics can maneuver at speeds above Mach 5, making them extremely difficult to track or intercept. Such advancements highlight China's push to challenge American dominance not just with numbers, but with technology. And the world is watching closely. In 2022, Reuters reported that China launched its third aircraft carrier, the Fujian. Unlike its earlier carriers, this one is equipped with advanced catapult technology, making it a true rival to America's nuclear-powered carriers. For Beijing, this isn't just about defending its waters, it's about projecting power far beyond its shores. Each new launch sends a clear message. China is no longer just a regional force, it's building the capability to operate globally. China's nuclear force is expanding at a pace that has drawn global attention. Right now, estimates suggest Beijing holds around 500 nuclear warheads. But according to a 2023 Pentagon report, that number could more than double by 2035, crossing 1,000 warheads. While still smaller than the US and Russia, this buildup signals China's determination to strengthen its deterrence and secure a seat at the top table of global powers. China isn't just focused on Earth. In recent years, it has pushed aggressively into space. Its Tiangong space station is now fully operational, making China one of only 2 nations with a permanent human outpost in orbit. This project isn't just about science, it's also about prestige, influence, and proving that Beijing can compete with the West in the final frontier. In 2021, China became only the second country in history to successfully land a rover on Mars. This achievement, widely covered by outlets like Al Jazeera and BBC, shocked many who once saw space as America's uncontested domain. The mission highlighted not only China's scientific progress but also its ambition to challenge the US in areas once thought untouchable. The race to Mars, the Moon, and beyond is no longer a one-sided story. Taken together, China's expanding nuclear arsenal and bold space program show a clear strategy to be seen as a full-spectrum superpower. From weapons beneath the Earth's surface to stations orbiting above it, Beijing is making moves that could reshape the balance of global power in the decades ahead. For decades, China was seen mainly as an economic powerhouse within Asia. But today, its influence stretches far beyond its own borders. The Belt and Road Initiative, launched in 2013, has become one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in history. From Africa to Europe, and from Asia to Latin America, China has built railways, ports, highways, and power plants, tying dozens of countries into its economic orbit. To many, this looks like the blueprint of a rising superpower. Nowhere is China's impact more visible than in Africa. Thousands of kilometers of new highways, railways, and energy plants have been financed and built with Chinese support. In countries like Kenya, Nigeria, and Ethiopia, Chinese companies have transformed transport and trade. For many African governments, Beijing has become the go-to partner for development, offering loans, technology, and labor at a scale the West no longer matches. China's influence isn't just about roads and trade, it's also about diplomacy. In 2023, Al Jazeera reported a breakthrough that shocked many. Beijing brokered peace between Saudi Arabia and Iran, 2 longtime rivals in the Middle East. This was something Washington could never achieve, but China managed to bring both sides to the table. The move signaled that Beijing is no longer just an economic player, but also a growing diplomatic force in regions where the US once dominated. The war in Ukraine has also shifted global alliances. Russia, once heavily tied to the US dollar, has begun trading with China using the yuan. This move reduces dependence on Western currencies and strengthens Beijing's role in global finance. It also brings Moscow and Beijing closer together, 2 powers challenging the Western-led system from different directions. For the first time in decades, the dollar's supremacy is being questioned, and the yuan is stepping onto the world stage. From African railways to Middle Eastern diplomacy, and from Russian trade to Latin American partnerships, China is positioning itself as more than a regional giant, it wants to be a global leader. Its projects bring development, but also dependence. Its diplomacy brings peace, but also influence. The question the world now asks is China building a more connected future, or a future where Beijing holds the strings? Either way, the balance of power is shifting, and the effects are already being felt across every continent. Not long ago, Chinese products were seen as cheap copies. But today, China is home to some of the most powerful tech companies in the world. Brands like Huawei, TikTok, and BYD have gone global, shaping how people communicate, work, and travel. TikTok, for example, is now one of the most downloaded apps on the planet, influencing culture and media far beyond China's borders. Huawei, despite US sanctions, remains a leader in telecom and 5G networks. These brands show that China isn't just producing goods, it's shaping the future of technology. One of the clearest signs of China's industrial strength is its dominance in electric vehicles. In 2024, BYD overtook Tesla as the world's top seller of EVs. This milestone, reported by Bloomberg and CNBC, was more than a business victory, it symbolized a shift in technological leadership. With massive government support and advanced battery technology, BYD and other Chinese automakers are leading the global transition away from fossil fuels. For the first time, Western carmakers are playing catch-up. China has also invested heavily in cutting-edge technologies like 5G and artificial intelligence. Huawei has built 5G networks in dozens of countries, giving Beijing a head start in global digital infrastructure. Meanwhile, Chinese AI labs are producing breakthroughs in facial recognition, robotics, and machine learning. CNBC reports that China now trains more AI engineers than any other country. For Beijing, technology is not just about business, it's about power. Whoever leads in AI, many experts say, could lead the 21st century. From smartphones to supercomputers, and from electric cars to space technology, China is showing the world that it's not only a factory, it's becoming the center of global innovation. Its companies are challenging Silicon Valley and Detroit, forcing the West to adapt or fall behind. Reports by Bloomberg and CNBC underline a clear trend. China is no longer following, it is leading in critical sectors. The question now is not whether China can innovate, but whether the rest of the world can keep up. For nearly a century, the US dollar has been the king of global finance. From oil trade to international banking, the dollar has been the default currency for business and diplomacy. Even today, more than half of the world's reserves are held in dollars. But in the 21st century, cracks are starting to show. And at the center of this shift stands China, ready to challenge the dollar's dominance with its own currency, the yuan. One of the strongest signals of change is coming from BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Together, these nations represent over 40% of the world's population and nearly a quarter of global GDP. In 2023, BBC Business reported that BRICS countries are actively pushing to reduce reliance on the dollar. Some members are calling for a shared currency, while others are simply using local money in trade. At the heart of this movement is Beijing, which is pushing the yuan as a serious alternative. The shift is already happening. Russia, after facing Western sanctions, now trades oil and gas with China in yuan. Iran has also turned to Beijing for financial stability, settling deals in yuan instead of dollars. Even Saudi Arabia, the heart of global oil, has started accepting the yuan for part of its energy sales. These changes might look small at first glance, but together they mark a historic break from decades of dollar-only dominance. China isn't stopping with traditional trade. It has launched the world's first major state-backed digital currency, the digital yuan. Unlike Bitcoin, it's controlled by Beijing, and it's already being tested in cities across China. Analysts suggest that if this system expands globally, it could give China unmatched control over digital payments and challenge the dollar not just in banks, but in every smartphone on the planet. The future of money may no longer be printed, it may be coded. The battle between the dollar and the yuan is more than a fight over money, it's a fight over influence, power, and the shape of the world economy. Whether the dollar keeps its throne, or the yuan rises to take it, one thing is clear: the financial world is changing, and the stakes have never been higher. After hearing all these facts, it almost feels like China has already taken the crown. Its factories power the global economy, its technology is rising fast, and its influence stretches from Africa to the Middle East. Many people look at these signs and believe China is the new boss of the world. China fire. But here's the twist. In reality, the United States still holds the top spot. The US dollar is still the strongest global currency, the American military remains unmatched in size and reach, and Washington still leads the world's most powerful alliances, from NATO to the Pacific. The picture is not as simple as it looks. Yet, one truth remains. The gap is closing. China's economy, technology, and diplomacy are catching up, and America is no longer alone at the top. The world is moving toward a future where two giants stand face to face. And sooner or later, the question will echo everywhere: who is the real superpower of the 21st century? China or the United States? So, the debate continues. Is America still the global superpower, or is China rising to claim that position? Only time will tell. Globe sparkles. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, share anti-clockwise arrows, and subscribe bell for more global insights.